What's your name?
My name is Valerie Robles.
Are you okay adjusting to a new shift?
I am okay to adjusting to new shifts because I feel like every day is different, so why not just change it up once in a while?
What made you want to help people?
What made me want to help people is that I'm a caring person. I've always been. I have a little sister. She's 4 years younger than me, so I've always felt like I was kind of like a second mother to her, and I've always cared for her, so maybe that's my main reason why.
How long do you believe you'll be a paramedic?
I believe I'd be a paramedic for the rest of my life, actually. I don't see it as a job where you just wake up and dread every day. I actually want to do this, so I feel like this is my career and I'll be good at it.
What can you bring to the job that exceeds what other candidates can bring?
um, I can bring diversity. I speak Spanish, so I am bilingual. And I feel like that will definitely come in handy, especially because you never know what's going to happen, on the daily. Everything's different. So you can come across people that just don't know any English at all. So I feel like I can bring that to the table.
How would you handle working with a teammate that wasn't to the skills you possess and you felt like you had to carry the workload?
I would feel obviously stressed, but I'm the type of person to kind of mentor the person if they're not going in the right direction, so that because we are a team, we have to work together. So I would just, break it down, just let them know this is how you do that, and you have to do this at a certain time because this is not just any regular job. Everything has to be, set and done and perfect because it is in the medical field. So it's not like you can just brush it off.
How do you handle death?
Um, as a human being, everybody handles death differently. I just feel like you just have to have compassion for the family that has is going through the passing of a person. But professionally, you just have to shut your emotions off. Keep calm. You need to be able to communicate with the family and just stay calm. That's all.
What is a typical day for a paramedic?
A typical day for a paramedic, based on my research, because I did do a lot of research. I wasn't going into having a blind perspective of what this job or this career requires. Um, Different days, 10 to 15 calls of days, 911 calls. It can be dramatic accidents, traumatic, any traumatic accidents. It can be to even an elderly person falling and just calling for 911. So every day is different, like I said. Um, and based on my research, that's just what I found.
What are some ways that you can feel that EMS can become more professional?
I feel like EMS can become more professional by just being with the community more, like being more involved with the community since they are helping. It's more like emergency in the community, and just always being in tip-top shape, like regarding uniform and just looking your best all the time and being professional.
What health-related courses did you take prior to enrolling to your paramedic training?
My first semester at College of the Canyons, I did take a kinesiology course, and basically it taught me, the first responders. It was like first responders, and I basically got certified as to give CPR and all that good stuff, and I learned a lot. It's actually for sports medicine because I was leaning towards athletic training or paramedic, but I'm actually torn between the two, but I'd rather be in emergency medicine only because the thrill of just not knowing what's going to happen and just figuring it all out right then and there. So I feel like all that I've learned through that class can help me out in the future.
Tell me how you remain calm in detail during a crisis.
During a crisis, you just in this work field, you have to remain calm. You have to just be collected. You cannot show that you're like, for example, if you see an accident, someone's leg is, one bone snapping out, you cannot let the person know that their bone is sticking out. You have to be like, okay, you're gonna be fine. You have to just breathe in, breathe out. You're gonna be okay. Everything's fine. Just be compassionate to the person. Let them know that everything's gonna be okay. Because the moment they see in your face that everything is just horrible in that moment, they're just gonna freak out, and it's gonna make the situation 10 times worse. So I feel like being very calm is important.
How would you intervene with a frantic relative who is grieving over the injury of a child?
Um, the way I would help is just, like I said, being compassionate, trying to put yourself in their shoes and understand how they're feeling. Yeah.
How would you rate your training and education?
My training, since I am barely, taking courses toward being a paramedic, extra courses, so that can prepare me for that, I think that's minimal, but I will progress over time. And my education, I feel like I'm gonna go more, but as of now, I'm very content with my education.
Give me at least 2 examples of stressful situations you faced in the past and the result.
Two stressful situations would have to be the time I witnessed my grandmother fall down her driveway, which was very scary and stressful because I was kind of in charge of her. I was actually taking her to a doctor's appointment, and I don't remember if I was getting something. I was getting her purse from the car or from the house to get to the car. So she just walked down she had a steep driveway, and she just fell. And when I saw that her arm or her shoulder got dislocated, I kind of freaked out. But I knew that I had to stay calm and collected, like I learned, because she was scared. She was in pain. So right then and there, I had to take her to the emergency room, and everything turned out well. She had a broken arm, but everything after that just turned out good. And then the second one was another injury, which is my little sister. I was at a softball game, and she had slid wrong, and she messed up her ankle. I want to say she sprained her ankle, and me as an older sister and in this medical field, and I'm so interested in helping people on injuries and all of that good stuff, I ran out there thinking I knew, yeah, I've taken a couple of classes, I know what to do. So I went out there and I assisted with the EMS that was watching the game, and I was just observing of what they were doing, and I assisted. It was a stressful situation because she's the star player. She already has scholarships lined up, so I was just stressed for her, and that whole situation was just stressful.
Being a new paramedic is usually difficult. How would you gain your teammates' respect?
I would gain my teammates' respect by just simply asking questions, doing what I was told, trying to build friendships with them, because you are going to be with them for a while, and so I feel like you need to build relationships with them, get to know them better, because you are going to be working with them and you are a team. So I feel like that's very important.
How would you cope with a stressful situation?
As I said before, just to keep calm, step back, think about the situation, just analyze everything, think of solutions to the problem, not just freak out over them, actually find a solution toward a problem, and doing your best, just taking a breath.
What are a few traits you have to sorry. What are a few traits you think a paramedic needs to have?
I believe a paramedic needs to have compassion. They need to learn or they need to know how to work under pressure, especially given the job title, emergency medicine. So everything's going to be fast paced and you have to like know what to do at the right time. I think you need to be um, loving, you need to be understanding, and yeah.
24/7 operations are like relay races where you take the baton, run with it, and then pass it on smoothly. How do you make seamless transitions on a shift changes?
Um, Simply by just getting there promptly 15-20 minutes before 15-20 minutes before your start actually shifts, so if anything changes you have time to transition into whatever you're gonna transition into.
What did you find most challenging during your education?
Most challenging during my education, basically trying to keep an A average. I've never had a fail on my any of my transcripts or anything, so that's kind of like my biggest fear is failing or being a failure. Especially in my education, because education will take you, you know, far. So,
Would people say that you were compassionate? Your family? Why give some specific reasons?
um, just wait. Are you asking why I'm compassionate, or?
Would people say that you were compassionate?
Mm-hmm.
Your family? Why give some specific reasons?
Some specific reasons why I'm compassionate.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Well, like I mentioned before, I have a little sister, so I'm taking care of her. I love kids. I actually babysat my cousins, my little cousins, like ages 10 and under. So, um, they kind of, my family looks at me as kind of a nurturing person because of the fact that I'm so good with kids and I know how to work with them. I know what they need. Kind of like motherly instinct, even though I'm not a mother yet. So,
If you could change one thing about a paramedic's work life, what would it be? Example, shorter hours.
um, that would be actually something I would change is shorter amount of hours, not so much 24-hour shifts. Um, Mainly because family time is important, and I feel like if you have 24 to 72-hour shifts, that's 3 days you're not going to be able to see your family out of the week, and it could be at any day of the week, any days of the week. So, not specifically like the weekends or anything, but it can intervene with family time, which is important to me.
Okay, so this is a scenario. Your shift ends in 10 minutes, and you have accomplished all your duties. How would you utilize your remaining time?
I would utilize my remaining time by just simply um, just checking again of how the if the truck is all filled with the specific, you know, medicine or tools. Everything's just in tip-top shape for the next shift that's ready to arrive.
Who are your customers in EMS?
My customers in EMS are basically the people that call 911, anybody that needs help or anyone that is in danger. It's my duty to help.
What drew you to emergency medicine?
Excuse me?
What drew you to emergency medicine?
What drew me to emergency medicine was mainly my uncle. He's a fireman, and he basically he gave me, for my birthday, he would give me rides on the fire truck or just take me around the block and just teach me, oh, I do this every day. I put on this. He even let me put on his uniform, like just stuff like that. And they were in the middle or in the middle of a call, and paramedics showed up. And since I was so interested in my uncle's firefighting career and what he did for a living, I kind of asked, oh, what do paramedics do? And, one of his coworkers told me what they did, and I was very interested. Like, every day's different. You never know what you're going to get every day. You never know what you're going to see. You never know who you're going to meet. And the best thing about it is that you help people at the end of the day.
What gives you the greatest joy about being a paramedic?
The greatest joy, I would say, is just helping people out, and being actually the most important thing is just being appreciated for your help.
Tell me about a time when you managed to carry out a difficult task under a great deal of pressure.
A time where I felt a lot of pressure and I just had to roll the punches would have to be when my mom, she needed a blood transfusion, and she needed somebody to drive her because she was just so excuse me, she was lightheaded, and I didn't even have my permit, I didn't have my license. I've been behind the wheel a couple times, but it was just my duty to just get her to a hospital because I didn't know what would happen next. So I had to drop her off in the hospital, even though I was just so paranoid that I was going to get pulled over and, all the consequences that came with that.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I actually see myself in the EMS, so as a paramedic, and thriving in the world.
What steps do you take when you are first on scene?
When I'm first on the scene, I check the truck, and I basically find everything is in order, everything is fine, check the schedule, whatever the tasks need to be done, I do it right before, any call comes on.
What is your greatest achievement so far?
My greatest achievement so far would have to be furthering my education in the paramedic field. So I will always have I will always want to further my education in paramedic. Like, I wouldn't mind taking extra classes just to know what is coming.
Are you ready to handle the stress of being a paramedic?
Yes, I am. I'm very actually ready. I think I've been ready since I was a freshman in high school. That's kind of what my calling was after my uncle had introduced me to it. I originally wanted to be a marine biologist because I am in love with the ocean, even though I don't know how to swim, but I love the ocean. I love the sea creatures. I find it so fascinating that I just find the ocean so fascinating, especially because we don't even know what's half of what's, in the ocean. But I actually had a reality check, and there's really not many careers in marine biology. It's just you'd have to live by the marine area and stuff. So that's basically why.
What do you feel is an acceptable amount of days to be absent in a calendar year?
What, can you repeat that question, please?
What do you feel is an acceptable amount of days to be absent in a calendar year?
I would say in a whole year, about, I can't really put a number on it. It's just, if something happens, it happens. You can't really stop it. It's inevitable.
What was the worst situation you faced as a paramedic?
At first, I would say it would have to be seeing someone in pain, and just your only duty is to transport them to a hospital and put them on IV and give them something to just relieve their pain, but it's just, it doesn't work right away, so you just have to like sit there and just try to keep them calm. So that's what.
How well do you work in a team?
I work very well in a team. I work very well in a team. I think I am a team player. I've always loved working in teams just because you can help each other out, and if you don't know something, you can always ask another person, a question, and
Okay.
it's just better.
This concludes our
Thank you.
interview.
Thank you.